Welcome to our multiple choice practice questions session, and I'll do a little bit of time talking hints and tips, techniques and strategies, and then we'll also go through and talk a little bit about some different questions. And it's worth noting, by the way, that I stole the questions from the Princeton Review. Okay, so that's the source of these questions is the Princeton Review AP Test Prep book. So in terms of strategies and techniques, right, and these are actually also pretty straight from the Princeton Review book, but they're good tips, right? There's a reason why they make it into that book. So first of all, read, and if you need to, reread the question completely to be sure that you understand what that initial question stem is and what it says, right? Circle or underline keywords that might help you find the answer if that's something that you find will help you out, right? Next, predict what you believe the answer will be. So have some idea going into reading the answer choices what you are looking for. Okay. And then once you've done that, read all of the answer choices to see if one matches your prediction. And I want to emphasize that again, all of the answer choices. Okay. Because AP is notorious for selecting ones that are close but not quite right, and you want the best answer, not simply one that might work. So all of the answer choices. If you find one that matches your prediction, you're done and move on. Okay. If you don't, then go through and use a process of elimination to cut down possibilities. Once you've done that, give it your best guess and move on. All right. Because the goal is you only want to spend about 45 seconds a question, 40 to 45 seconds a question, which sounds like not very much time, but I promise it's enough time to do this, right? It's enough time to do that. Some other tips and tricks, right? Slow down. You have time. Be sure to use it. You shouldn't finish the multiple choice portion of the AP exam with 10, 20, 30 or more minutes left. Okay? Really what you want to do is aim for 5 or less. And if you're not sure about that timing piece, I would strongly recommend you practice with timing. Set yourself a timer. They're on your cell phone. You can use one there, right? And just give yourself 40 seconds and do a multiple choice question. I think you'll be shocked how much time you actually have. And when you're done with that multiple choice question, make yourself sit and actually feel that 40 seconds, all right? Again, read everything. Your goal is the best answer, not a possible answer. Okay. Questions are designed to trick you by having answers that are close but not the best. So you have to actually be able to read and distinguish answers. Okay. And once you've done that and you've gone through and selected your answer choices, don't change your answer unless you're 110% certain that what you selected was wrong. Okay. Your gut's going to be right far more often than you want to give it credit for. Okay. So unless you're absolutely certain, right? It asks for a psychoanalytic theory and your answer was something about behaviorism, right? Go ahead and change it. But if you're not absolutely certain, don't change it. Don't change it. Okay. So practice question number 1, and these are all going to be from our first couple of units. There's 3 or 4 questions, I think. Areas of the brain that are damaged are referred to as having A, brain lesions, B, hemispheres, C, brain lobes, D, cortical adhesions, or E, basal ganglia. What I want you to do is pause the video for a moment, read the question again, and put together what you think the answer choice might be. Go ahead and pause it now. Okay, so answer and our strategy, right? So first of all, the answer is A, but then again, you want to be sure that you understand the question and the key words. What are the damaged areas? What are damaged areas of your brain called, right? And then predict an answer. Lesions. If you don't remember, or if that word lesions doesn't come to mind, use the process of elimination. And this goes Same thing if your predicted answer isn't on the list. Okay. Choices B, C, and E are all areas of your brain. Choice D, cortical adhesions, is made up, right? And incidentally, this is why I like to tell kids, if you haven't heard of the answer choice, it's probably not the correct answer, okay? If it sounds like it could be a thing, cortical adhesions, but it isn't, okay? So if you haven't heard of the answer choice, it's probably not the right answer. Question 2. Every time you buy ice cream from the Yellow Brick Road ice cream parlor, you get your over the rainbow card stamped. Once you purchase 10 items, you get your next item free. The Yellow Brick Road ice cream parlor has you on which of the following reinforcement schedules? A, variable ratio, B, variable interval, C, fixed ratio, D, fixed interval, or E, continuous. And again, I want you to pause the video, reread the question and the answer choices, and figure out what you think the answer is. Pause it now. All right, so answer choice and strategy. Okay. First of all, the answer is C. Then you want to understand the question and the keywords, right? So which of the following means reward after a specified number of purchases? Okay. Specified means they tell you exactly how many purchases you have to make to get the reward, right? And then predict the answer. In this case, a fixed ratio. If it's a set number, it's fixed. Okay. If you don't remember anything like fixed number will get you to your answer using process of elimination. Okay. Get rid of A and B because they're variable, which means that they change. Okay. And E, which is continuous, because you're not being continuously rewarded. You're not getting rewarded every time you go. Okay. Choice C, fixed ratio, refers to a ratio or a number, whereas D, fixed interval, refers to time. Okay, and when we're talking about reward schedules, that word ratio is always going to mean number, set number of times, and interval is always going to refer to time. Next question. Which of the following neurotransmitters is most explicitly associated with the experience of pleasure? GABA, acetylcholine, serotonin, dopamine, or adrenaline? Pause the video and figure out what you think the correct answer is. Pause it now. All right, so our answer is D. And then when we are working to understand the question and the keywords, right, what we'd want to look at, what we'd want to circle or underline, right? Neurotransmitters and pleasure. Those are keywords. Okay? And then we're predicting the answer, dopamine. If you don't remember, again, you're going to use process of elimination to get rid of anything you don't recognize or you flat out know is wrong. So is A, GABA, associated with pleasure? No, cross it off, right? Is B, acetylcholine, associated with pleasure? No, it's got something to do with memory, right? Even if you don't know, the fact that it has to do with memory means it doesn't have to do with pleasure. Choice C, serotonin, might throw you off, so you leave it unsure, right? Choice E, adrenaline, is not a neurotransmitter, so cross it off. And that leaves you with D and C, and then you can best guess, right? Is your answer, as you're eliminating, I've said this before and I'll say it again, as you're eliminating, what you're doing is increasing the odds you'll guess correctly when you have to guess. All right, question 4. A psychologist, wishing to study the behavior of prisoners, arranges to dress as a prison guard so he can stand in the recreation area and unobtrusively study the actions and interactions of inmates. The psychologist is employing which of the following research tools? Quasi-experimental, naturalistic observation, correlational research, random sampling, or case study? Pause the video and figure out what you think the answer is. Pause it now. All right, so the answer is B, right? And then when we're looking to understand the question or keywords, which research tool involves watching people without interacting with them? Because that's what the psychologist is doing, okay? And that's one of those things where what you're really doing is getting at what's the behavior and you're not focusing so much on the specific scenario. And then you want to predict the answer, naturalistic observation, right? Even if you only remember observation, you're still fine because there's an answer that has observation in it. Okay? Process of elimination would get rid of everything else. Is A, quasi-experiment, the same as an observation? No, so cross it off. C, correlational research, the same as observation? If you don't know, leave it. Otherwise, cross it off. Is D, random sampling, the same as observation? Absolutely not, right? How about E, case study? Is that the same as observation? Okay. No, although arguably that's probably the closest, right? But it's not the same thing as observation. And so again, you've eliminated your way down to answer choice B, or like I said, maybe it's B and E and then you're guessing. But either way, you've now dramatically increased your odds. So that's our review session on multiple choice, and it's been a pleasure to be your host. This is Miss Gall, and I will see you in class.